and then we'll start. Are live. Welcome to the next episode of the MMAgnst podcast. I'm your host once again, Ben Cohn. Joining me today, two of your three people here are sick. One thanks to an infant child, and the other one due to socialized medicine, which is why we should obviously keep our private healthcare system intact. The other one is Bilal.
No.
The other one is Bilal. Say hi, Bilal and Alejandro.
Hola. Hey.
No way.
Thank you for proving it, Alejandro. We know you're sick. You don't need to cough like a bastard. We know.
Shut up.
As I say that. Okay. Today we actually have an off week of a UFC. Well, not an off week, but we didn't have one this past
Finally.
week. We had no fights really to discuss. There was some boxing and shit, but, you know, nothing too crazy. None of these cards that drive the world mad. Overall, it was a relaxing weekend that I got to watch my son. I got to do some things this last night, and it was a weird night for me.
What?
We're gonna be. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We're gonna be discussing the fights next week that we found.
Is that why you're sick today?
What?
Is that why you're sick today?
No, that's entirely Daniel's fault.
Sure, blame it on the baby.
I am blaming it on the baby. Okay, so what we're going to be discussing today, some of the fights from next weekend, some of the fighters we're interested in talking about next weekend. We're going to start with, of course, the big one, the return of Jon Jones. And he's fighting Alexander Gustafsson for the second time. We're going to be talking about the only women's super fight, I would say, we've had so far, Nunes versus Cyborg. I'm actually really interested because I remember back in the day I said Nunes is kind of the only one I feel who really has any sort of legitimate shot from 135 of beating Cyborg. Excuse me. And we're going to be discussing two of my boys. One is my boy for longer than the other, just because one existed longer than the other in the fight game. Ryan Bader is going to fight the heavyweight goat, Fedor Emelianenko. And we're going to be discussing Volky, my boy, Alexander Volkanovski. Love you, bro. I got you. I'm on that train forever. And I know you're going to get that title. Versus Chad Mendes of ointment cream thingy, steroid thing fame, which to this day I still don't understand. So I'm not going to pretend I think he's guilty or innocent. I don't know. Then we're going to be doing some quick hits. We're going to talk about Megan Anderson. It's Megan, not Megan.
Yes.
And her fight against Kat Zingano. We're going to talk about BJ.
Kat Zingano, she was like some new person. Like, she's Kat Zingano.
She is. She's certainly Kat Zingano. BJ Penn returning again after, I think, signing a 4-fight deal. Jesus.
I mean, they shouldn't be laughing. That's bad.
I'm not laughing. It's like sad laughter. Versus Ryan.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to talk a little bit.
It's one of those uncomfortable things, like when you watch a video of someone kicking a puppy and then you feel bad.
Yes. And then we're going to mention Arlovsky, Latifi, and Aaron Pico, the most impressive prospect to enter our sports since Jon Jones. And of
course you mean Latifi by that.
What?
Of course you mean Latifi by that.
Yes, of course we mean Latifi. Look at him. Just look at him. He's made of marble. Someone chiseled him.
Oh, yeah.
Best prospect around.
Yes.
So yeah, Okay, so I think we should just jump right into it, honestly. UFC 232, headlined by Jones Gus. It's the second time they're fighting, although it's a lot different than the context of their first fight, I would say.
Yeah.
Wasn't the context of the first fight, greatness is within reach or something? I don't know.
Which,
So,
so the funny
reaching
part
for the
about that,
sky,
yeah,
something
it
like
was
that.
greatness within reach, and I think the funniest part about it is that as much as we made fun of it, it was true.
It was.
Like, reach was the most important factor in that fight, and it's been a long time since then. It's been, wow, their fight was in September 2013, so it's been 5 years since their first fight. Jones was on coke, most likely, according to, not most likely, he basically said outright, he's like, he wasn't training, was on coke. And despite the fact that it was 5 years ago, he's only had 4 fights since then. And despite the fact that it was, again, 5 years ago, Alexander Gustafsson has managed to only be slightly more active than him by having 5 fights since then. It's a weird division, isn't it?
Yeah. It's worse than heavyweight.
And I think something we can kind of say, since watching both of them fight since then, is that despite the fact that Jones has clearly improved more than Gustafsson, I would say, we haven't seen anything from Jones. Jesus Christ.
What the hell was that?
I think that was a
Did
sneeze.
you just kill a cat or something?
I'm sorry. I sneezed so hard my earphones fell off.
Wow,
sorry.
dude.
I was trying not to sneeze for the longest time, and then I sneezed and just shit fell out.
Why didn't you just mute your mic and sneeze?
I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about holding back the sneeze, which obviously didn't work.
No, it did not. But moving on to your sneeze, you dick. Anyway, so I think the last fighter that was remotely close to the size of Gustafsson was OSP, and we saw how that went. It was obviously a clear win for Jones, but it was also a very weird win for Jones that kind of was slow. And I mean, it's kind of, to me, when I look at this fight, I mean, I still kind of see the issues that will plague Jones again and make Gus a uniquely difficult matchup for Jones, while also saying that Gus hasn't really worked on hasn't fixed the issues he had since the first fight either. So, I mean, like, Gus still has a chance of winning this fight.
Marginal.
I think you can just sum it up in as in Jones has gotten better at fighting short people, and Gustafsson has gotten better at, I don't know, jogging around the cage.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that, like, the issues that Jones had, like the fact that he was not used to being able to hit at the range that he's usually safe, still exists, especially in boxing exchanges, which is still his weakest area overall. His kicks are phenomenal and all that, but his boxing in the pocket and his
hands are the least high quality aspect of his game.
Correct. And whatever you could say about Gus, his offensive boxing is still pretty solid. I mean, I don't take much stock in him beating Glover Teixeira, a slow-ass Glover Teixeira. Not even like...
crusty.
Yeah, he's not like Glover Teixeira that Jones beat. So what I think we see happening is kind of similar to the first fight. The question is just whether Jones will have that moment in the 4th round where he hits the spinning elbow. Because keep in mind, Gus was winning the round. So if Jones misses that spinning elbow, or it doesn't hurt Gus that bad because it lands off, I mean, we had a new champion.
Yeah, but we technically are going to have a new champion anyway.
Fair, but let me pose the question this way. What have we seen from Jones we know what Gus is. We know how Gus fights. We know where he's at. Jones, what are we going to see? What have we seen that would make you think this rematch would go drastically differently?
Do we know where Gus is, though? I mean, guy has been injured for 40 decades or something.
You're right, but what I mean is stylistically.
But even stylistically, like Jones is bad at when people can just reach him or he can punch them. I know it just seems always shocked that someone can actually, hit him back despite these long arms. I mean, Gus doesn't really fight all that long either. I mean, he was getting outclassed by young Blackiewicz.
But that's the thing. He did against Jones. He didn't have to fight long. That's the thing.
He didn't have to fight long.
He doesn't.
But that's exactly what got him caught to the elbow also.
Correct, which is why I listen. I'm not saying
he could just throw and be at the right range because Jones wanted to be at the same range he did. But he couldn't maintain range well enough that Jones still hit him with the elbow. So
I understand. So what I'm saying is that Jones has fought one guy of similar height and reach since the Gus fight. And we saw a lot of those same problems despite him taking it seriously and being in the gym and coming in ripped and all that stuff. And OSB is nowhere near the output, nowhere near the, I would say his offensive boxing is nowhere near as good as Gustafsson. Yet we still saw Jones kind of struggle with that range against an inferior offensive boxer with less cardio, I would say less chin, less durability, and less craft. There's one thing Gus is really good at doing, is putting his hands on his opponents when he wins.
What?
Gus is at his best, not when he's backing up. It's when he's attacking is the best way. When Gus tries to play the outfighter, I find it much less effective because he's being told you're 6'5", you have a long reach, be an outfighter. But that's not who he is. He's not a good outfighter. He's much better exchanging in the pocket.
Well, I mean,
he doesn't fight long. That's why.
Well, can I jump in?
You have to beat Jones by being long while not fighting long, because that's what.
Can I jump in?
Most.
That's true.
Yeah, the problem. What I do see is that the problem with Gus is the perpetual problem of tall MMA fighters, in that they don't know how to maximize the efficiency of their reach. Like, they fight like they're shorter, and that's just how it is in MMA right now. As for his chances against Jones, I'm going to put it out there that I don't think they're that good or necessarily better than they were the last time, mainly because of activity and mainly because of what has happened in their respective careers and their personal lives in terms of outside the cage. In terms of John, what we have seen is that all his struggles have come in the way of him fucking up. But Gus's troubles have come in the way of him getting knocked the fuck out by Rumble, just flattened. Well, not flattened, but he was out. And he got beat the fuck out by DC. Like, he ended that fight standing, but he took a lot of shots. On top of that, he's also been dealing with injuries. Like, his career has been cut down by injuries. So he is not, even coming into this fight, he's been less active than Jones. He's been fighting less higher level opponents than Jones. The highest level opponent he fought was Jan Blachowicz, and it looked dicey for him for a moment. On the feet against a man with a much...
No, I just wanted to add, he was getting out-struck by Jan on the feet. Yes,
that's my point. Like, a man with much shorter reach than him. So, what I'm saying, like, my hypothesis would be is that he hasn't quite solved the problems he needs to solve in order to beat John Jones at his best. He's not coming into this fight at his best. Like, the best thing he said is that he has been training for 10 rounds. That's what he said. So, I don't think he's going to do very well, actually. I think John, you can knock him down for a lot of things he does, but he has been steadily learning and becoming more self-aware as far as his fighting career is concerned. And you can see him picking good habits on the feet. He makes very good reads still. Like, he always made good reads, but he was kind of like Thiago Santos, whom we love, in that he didn't always make the best choices as far as standing up, but now he seems more diligent in that. So I don't really think Gus is going to be very close to him when the fight comes. Like, I think he's going to have like a moment or two on the feet in round 1 or 2, and then it's going to be a round. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any argument that Jones is a far better adapter in cage than Gustafsson is, and I think that's obviously why he was able to recover and win that first fight in the first place. He's just a much better in-cage fighter and adapter.
But he's also more diligent, technically diligent.
I agree. I think he's more...
Oh, wow.
What? I can't hear.
Sorry. What do you call it? So, I would say that with Jones and Gus, the issue that I have with saying that Jones will do far better this time than the last time is just that as good as Jones has shown, as much as Jones has showed that he gets better, that he improves fight to fight. One, he has been less active, despite the fact that it's more out of cage shenanigans, obviously. That shit can wear on you too. Yes, there's physical injuries, but at least you always know what you're coming back from. With Jones, there's a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of, I'm sure, anxiety in his situation, which can also wear on you mentally. So what kind of Jones will we see mentally in the cage as well?
Well, fair enough, but what I will say to that is that we have seen John overcome these things. Like, this is what he does. Like, he's better at overcoming his personal issues than he is at getting technical on his stand-up, if it makes any sense. Like, he knows when to turn it up, is my point. And we haven't quite seen that from Gus. And he gets derailed, he deals with things, he has struggles, he has wanted to retire once. Like, he's more sensitive in that aspect. Like, he's not like he's not as socially detached as John Jones, to put it that way. So he feels things differently. And I think he comes into this fight from a more fragile place. But I hear you, I hear what you're saying, and I think it makes some sense.
Yeah, I personally think we understand the technical aspects of this fight, but I think we still understand that we understand the technical breakdown of this fight. It's really going to come down to how well Jones can deal with the reach of Gus and how well he's adapted, because I don't think Gus is going to really trouble Jones with anything he hasn't seen before. I don't think we're going to see a new Gus. He's still going to be that guy looking to land those rear fucking uppercuts in combination. like he's still that guy. The question is whether Jones has adapted to it. I don't know.
That's it going to be.
I just don't know, and I don't feel comfortable saying yes because Jones hasn't showed he's able to, and that's why I happen to think Gus would do better at heavyweight than not Jones.
Oh, he definitely
Gus would do better at heavyweight than Jones, because Jones relies on his reach far more than Gus does. Gus relies on his speed and his ability to land shots faster than his opponents. We saw how Gus deals with a slower opponent, and it's by hitting them over and over and over again while their opponents miss and miss and miss. Gus has a chin that's good enough to deal with it. He's huge. Like, people don't talk about it enough. There's no way Gus isn't cutting a huge amount of weight.
Oh, he looks massive.
Yeah.
Like one of those huge biking guys.
Yeah, he's for sure weighs minimum of 230, or 235 when he walks around. So I would love to see Gus move up to heavyweight because I think he would be fantastic there compared to Jones, who would be
Bilal has demons.
Yeah, Bilal has demons and he keeps letting them in, so we have to just keep pushing them back with my Jew magic. So, personally, I see this being a back and forth fight again. That's going to make people very, very angry with the decision. I think it might be either a split or a very close unanimous decision for Jones.
I think it's a finish. I think it's a finish in the fourth round. Wow. I do. I'll be honest. I think Gus is coming into this fight the most fragile he has ever been. It's just too much damage accrued, injuries accrued, like mental, like weight put on him. Also, but yes, Gustafsson. But also, like, to go back to your point, like maybe Jones, maybe this is like the straw that breaks the camel's back, and he just can't come back quite the same way, because there's a lot of shit going at Jackson's. There's a shit going in his personal life. Like, there's a lot of things. So it's like a very, as far as narrative is concerned, it's a very compelling fight between two very compromised people, if it makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, we have this whole shit with Winklejohn, and we have being Winklejohn and just getting angry at anybody who talks shit about him. Obviously, I mean, fair, but like everyone's talking shit, so he's just angry at everyone. And then you have Brandon Gibson in the mix, and I don't know where he stands on all of this, and whether Jones is training with Brandon.
I think he quit the gym and he's doing something else. Okay, Bilal is writing to us that let the hate flow through you. Okay.
Okay, so Bilal is Emperor Palpatine, apparently.
Yes. The demons got to him.
I don't see a finish in the first round, honestly. I don't know what makes you think Gus has become that.
No. I say in the fourth round, not the first, in the fourth round.
Fuck, first round.
Well, imagine if there is a finish in the first round. Wow.
Yeah, dude. If
if
there's a finish in the first round, I would bet it being Gus, like not Jones.
That would be wild, though. If Gus can, also, like, if Gus can win this fight, and narratively speaking, like, is this the end of Jackson Wink?
Yeah.
Or at least, like, it just breaks their back.
Yeah, I
like
think,
in a very insane way.
There's only so long you can go with basically choosing all these younger guys over people who have been there forever before people are just like, yo, dude, fuck off. You're not actually loyal to people who've been there forever. And the more we hear and see coming out of it, the more I look back on the whole Evans debacle and go like, yeah, Rashad was right.
That's so sad. Like all these years ago, and it just came back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah,
that's so sad.
All right, let's move on with our sadness. We're going to be talking about Amanda Nunes.
We're so fucking angsty,
we are.
We chose a name on a flip, on a coin toss, and we always end in some downer note.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's actually worked out really well because we're a bunch of whiny bitches. Anyway, let's move on to...
I'm not whiny.
Amanda, you're an honorary Jewish mom, and how whiny you are. Why didn't you become a doctor like I asked?
Well, I'm supposed to become a doctor. It's just not like a useful one.
You're taking too long. Your brother Moishi was a doctor by 28. Why are you taking this long?
Well, I don't know. But I will be one.
You've disappointed me and your father.
Is that how they sound in New York?
No, that's how they sound when they're Jewish from New York.
Oh, because they sounded mildly Italian, like Joe Pesci.
Oh, no. It's like kind of a weird mix. Anyway, moving on from shitty stereotypes. Nunes versus Cyborg. Okay, we got the one. This is a super fight. We got the 145. We've got Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes, the 135-pound champion of an actual division. So that's interesting. Nunes is probably the biggest bantamweight the UFC has. And
no, not necessarily. I don't think she's bigger than Holm. And I think she's about Aldana's size, more or less. Irene Aldana.
No. Nunes.
I don't think Nunes is much larger.
Nunes is thicker, I would say. Is more heavily built than Holm. Holm is shredded, but Nunes, I think, is thicker.
I don't know.
Specifically around the midsection. She's got a very thick core.
I don't know. Anyways,
yeah. What are you?
She looks lighter these days.
Well, what's her read on this fight?
I'm going to say something controversial. I'm not picking Amanda to win, but what I will say controversial is that I see her doing well for 2 rounds.
Oh, I agree.
Mostly because she's so good at fighting on the outside. Unlike Gus, Amanda is very, very sound in her boxing.
Yeah,
especially on the far distance.
she's
And I think that and I think that it will take a little bit for Cyber to crack that. Like, I think she's going to make steady progress in round 1 and round 2, and do the most significant portion of her damage in round 3, and actually get a TKO in round 4. I think that's like the most logical scenario. But I think that we're going to see Amanda Nunes do very, very well in the first round, if she doesn't get clipped with something, right? But and in the second round, more of the same, but dwindled, and by the third and fourth, it's going to be Cyborg's fight because of her cardio, right?
Right. So
because of her cardio,
there's two factors. So we know Amanda Nunes doesn't have a great gas tank at 135.
No, but she paces herself very
at
well.
135.
Yes.
We don't know how much that cut affects her gas tank. Personally,
it definitely does.
I think it does. I don't think it'll make a huge difference, just because I just feel like Nunes is one of those fighters who will never have a great gas tank. I don't know why.
But enough of a difference that it is significant for this fight.
Correct. So what I think we're going to see is, I think Nunes actually will win round 1, because I think she'll be able to keep Cyborg from really getting to her, that first round. I think the second round.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is that it'll take effort, especially because Cyborg isn't quite as fast as she used to be. Like, time has gotten to her.
Oh,
so
she's definitely not, in her prime.
Yeah, and also, just like, she has been taking this medication. She was actually flagged for it once, I think. But it is a medication that I think is like something so that you may be able to conceive, which has its side effects. So she's on this thing also. So her output is going to be somewhat diminished from her prime. And I think that opens enough of a window for Amanda to do good work, at the very least in the first 2 rounds. I mean, she's going to dwindle again, but I think she's going to do very well for herself.
I mean, I think it's worth noting that Cyborg is 13 years into her career. Like, she is no spring chicken. She's 3, but she's also been doing these massive weight cuts. She's done a lot of damage to her body. And
yes, especially when she went to 140.
Yeah, and like, I think that's going to affect her. And this is Amanda Nunes not cutting the weight. So I think that physically this is going to benefit Nunes. I think stylistically, I think Nunes probably wins the first 2 rounds, but I do think that Nunes is kind of not a...
Wait, the demons are back.
The demons are back.
The demons are back, Mila.
They are about to go. Yeah, he muted himself. It's fine. All right. I do think that it's important to note that, Nunes is a better outfighter, I think, than Cyborg. And I think Cyborg will be willing to engage on the feet with Nunes for a little while. But I think eventually Cyborg is going to be like, I got to slow her down. And she's going to engage in the clinch. And if there's one thing we know, Cyborg is a wrecking machine in the clinch. And Nunes is fine. But
fine. Yeah, she's okay. She's the thing with that set Nunes apart from other fighters in the clinch was that she was super strong, but she's not going to have that going in against Cyborg. And also, Cyborg is a very good close distance fighter that she can handle with people in the pocket. People. Also, she's very good at setting up counters.
Yes, she's an excellent counter puncher, but so is Nunes.
Yes, and I think she has a slightly longer reach, Nunes.
I don't know, but it makes sense.
I think that I may be wrong, right? But because she fights so long.
Well, Cyborg has a 68-inch reach, according to Wiki, and Amanda has a 69-inch reach. But I think Cyborg is an inch taller, I want to say. No, they're both 5'8" listed.
No, Bilal says that he researched it. Bilal is talking to us via text because of the demons. Yes, but he says that he believes like Nunes is 1 inch longer
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's true.
But he is unsure of how much she relies on reach.
Well,
which
look at
I
her
would
best
say
performances. I would say a lot.
I disagree. As if he's not here to defend himself. He's wrong.
What do you mean?
I have no idea. He says, I want to believe also, I am unsure how much Nunes relies on reach.
Oh, yeah, we're both in agreement that she does use her reach very well.
Yeah, Bilal is mistaken.
Because she does not fight. Nunes's least impressive performances on the feet are when she has to fight in the pocket.
Yes.
And her best performances on the feet are when she's fighting on the outside. She was able to she was able to beat a far more skilled kickboxer in Shevchenko in a kickboxing match on the outside.
Yes.
Arguably she lost, but...
Arguably, yes. But also,
she also was there. She was still there.
No, I know. Yes, I can see that because of the massive threat of just knocking her block off, basically. So Amanda was always there, not necessarily on a technical level, but in a potential level of threat.
Yes.
And she will not have that going against Cyborg.
Why?
So she has
Hold on. We've never... When was the last time Cyborg fought someone who could hurt her?
Holly Holm. She doesn't have...
Really? Holly Holm?
No, wait.
Aside from her knockout in the UFC on Best
No. I'm talking about her legs. Her legs. She has long legs.
Right.
Somebody that can... You mean hands?
Yeah.
No, I mean... That's very complicated. Yes, I think Carano actually dropped her once.
No, she didn't. Did
she fall?
No.
I distinctly remember something like that.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have it on Fight Metric.
Yeah. They have it in Fight Pass, I'm sure.
No, I would have to watch the fight probably. I don't if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we're not.
Fight Metric only counts UFC fights or something like that, but I may be wrong.
Yeah. Anyways,
Strike Force.
Who was the last person she fought that could actually hurt her? The problem is...
I was wrong. They do have it. Gina Carano did not knock her down.
Yeah, the fuck. I was wrong. No, I don't think that she has fought anybody that can hurt her. But, we're assuming Amanda's power will translate upwards, which it might. What? Wait, wouldn't? Well,
she also hits harder than anybody, even at 135. Who has she fought that hits harder with her hands? Nobody.
Bilal says he agrees with me on everything, by the way.
I haven't read.
No, he's not. He's saying he disagrees with me on everything.
He literally said he won't stop typing to disagree with Alejandro, so he disagrees with everything you're saying.
Yeah, but he's wrong.
No. Anyway, I do think it's important to note we should move on from this topic because I do think that on a technical standpoint, I think this will come down to really. I just think that Cyborg is better in the clinch and in the pocket, and eventually she's just gonna stop fighting on the outside with Nunes because again she is slower. She's gonna be slower than Nunes, I would say. And I think it's going to be I just need to get inside. And I think once she decides she's going to need to get inside, she's going to. It's going to tire Nunes out. And like you said, I think a late TKO will happen.
Yeah, the most logical thing is that she will pierce the wall. It will take some effort, but she will pierce that wall. And when she does, she may will show up Nunes on the fifth.
Could you imagine?
Unless something dramatic happens, which we cannot predict because we haven't seen. But yeah, I think we're in agreement. A 4-round TKO, something like that. Yes?
Yeah.
Say Herb has ruled Cyborg will exterminate, says Bilal.
Jesus Christ.
Who is? Oh, damn. Herb Dean is calling this fight?
Well, someone's going to, get going on the field as a warrior or get an early stoppage. Or for some reason have a perfect stoppage.
But all we know is that something will happen.
Something surprising will happen. The question is what? Anyway, let's move on. We're going to talk about my boy, Ryan, the God Killer. Versus...
the Master.
Yes.
The Master.
No. No. That's only when he's doing certain things. Anyway,
we're a classy show, so
we're
we don't talk about that.
Yes. We're going to talk about Ryan Bader. He's on a 6-fight win streak, I think, right now, and he's facing Fedor Emelianenko, the heavyweight go-to. He's certainly not the best heavyweight in the world right now.
No, but historically he is.
Yes. And, it's still a dangerous fight for Bader just because of how hard Fedor still hits. For about 2 to 5 minutes, he's still in there.
I think he gets put out of there sooner, actually.
Oh, no, I don't think Fedor makes it to the final round.
No, it's 5 rounds, man.
Oh, it's 5 rounds?
Isn't it for the championship or whatever?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, no, he's going to get TKO'd. So,
yeah.
I just wanted to take a moment to talk about how good Bader has gotten as a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important to note that. People forget just how good he's gotten because they remember his fights with Glover and with, they remember his fights with Glover and Rumble and his early losses to Cheetah. And it's very important to note that Bader has just continuously, slowly improved. He's
amazing. Also, his losses are amazing. Can I just say something? Bader has gotten so good. It's just that, and it should be noted. People should recognize how good he is. He's probably the best light heavyweight outside of the UFC. I think that's very, very safe to say. He's probably one of the best even in the UFC. But the thing that I think of when I think of Ryan Bader is that when he lost so decisively. It was also it's almost so aesthetically pleasing. And even the narrative of his losses, he got clowned by John Jones, he got clowned by Tito, the fight that nobody will ever forget. He made some weird choices with Rumble, and he got knocked the fuck out, and just got destroyed by Glover in a fight that he was winning, I think, and then he got finished by Machida. But all of this fight belie the fact that this guy has grown so much and that he has developed so much, and that for whatever reason people tend to associate those shortcomings with the guy that he has become today. And if he were in the UFC, he would probably be right there in the mix, as Dana White says. The problem with that is that they never really liked him too much.
Well, that's the thing. They did at one point. Then,
did they?
Once he lost to Tito, I think is when they kind of no. So basically, he was 12-0. He just beat Lil Nog, and then he fought Jones. And I think the winner of that was if Bader won, he was getting a title shot, but he didn't win, obviously. And then he lost to Tito. When he beat Rampage, they gave him Machida. And that was pretty much it. After that, they kind of just gave up on him. Then he had his nice win streak, and then fought Rumble. And then after that, he fought Keefe and Lil Nog again.
He made a perplexing choice in that fight, in the Rumble fight.
That was weird, yeah.
Yeah, substantially strange. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just jump from outside and do something? What?
I don't know. I mean, how do you describe it? It was just, I think he was just way too nervous about Rumble's power and just was I gotta shoot. I know that's why.
Yeah.
But again, but we should mention, Bader has really become the best outfighter.
The guy,
at light heavyweight.
If he fought Jones today, I have more faith in him than I do in Gus. And no offense to Gus, but I have more faith in Ryan Bader. This guy could go the distance. I think he could do fine work there. I don't know if he beats John.
Yeah,
but
I think
he makes it a fight.
I think the problem would just be his reach. His reach is very short. He's a 74-inch reach.
Yeah, but Bader is so disciplined. He's so disciplined.
He's become very disciplined.
He has a mind. Nothing sticks to it. Nothing bad sticks to it. He just keeps getting better. Like, and he has had hard problem, like losses, like just issues that would have fucked someone else. But he just keeps trucking.
Right. I do think there is an issue with for Bader in the fact that he does heavily rely on his wrestling, which is where I think he would struggle the most with John, because you're not going to out-wrestle Jones. It's just not. He's not. But, you know, I would love to see it. I'm not going to pretend. I would love to see him against Jones, Cormier, and Gus, because I think he beats Gus.
Makes it a close fight with Cormier.
I think he would make it a very close fight with Cormier, unless Cormier just pressures through Bader's jab, which is really good, which I don't see Cormier being able to get through right away. I think it would take time. And
especially because...
Yeah. Go ahead.
The reference we have of Cormier going through jabs is John Jones, who doesn't have the best jab, or at least not when he fought DC. In the second fight, it was very clear that he was struggling with that, like keeping the distance, until he kicked him in the head.
Yeah.
and the Gus fight, Gus wasn't trying to fight far long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Like, that's an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Will we see it though?
No.
No. Is he still with Bellator? I mean, he has to have some kind of champion clause.
I mean, he is. He's fighting for the. I mean, I don't see him leaving Bellator anytime soon. Nor do I think he should.
No, get paid, man.
Yeah, he's 11 years into his career. He's 30 something, 34. Fucking do you, Ryan? Like, he's 35. Yeah, he should stick it. He should just stick it out in Bellator until he's ready, until he makes enough money to retire. But yeah, other than that, I mean, there's really not much to say. I do think that we should talk a little bit about the matchup. Fedor is still dangerous in those first few minutes, at least. He's still got his power. He still can scramble really well, which I think Fedor might struggle with slightly for a little bit before he is able to gas out Fedor.
Yeah, the problem is that I don't think Fedor... correct me, right? Correct me if I'm mistaken, but he has fought the quality of wrestler that he's going to fight when he fights Bader.
No,
he struggles a little bit with Chael Sonnen, which when he was younger, he would have just blown past him, right? And he kind of blew past him in this fight because Sonnen just made a bunch of mistakes, which he admits to.
Yeah.
But with Bader, like, has he ever fought that kind of a grappler, like this strong guy that is just going to hold on to him? Like, he never. Huh?
Not in recent years.
No, like, even like he fought Mark Coleman.
Yeah,
right?
That's important to note. Like, in his prime, he's fought high level wrestlers.
Yes, but he fought Nogueira.
Nogueira wasn't a high
he
level
didn't.
wrestler.
No, but he had a little grappler.
He fought Kevin Randleman. He fought Mark Coleman once or twice?
I think it was twice.
Once. Oh, twice. You're right.
Yeah, because I remember one of those, he just KO'd him and he would run away so angry.
Oh, both of them were arm bars.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
When was the one? Which one was the one where Mark Coleman took his kids to meet Fedor and they were like fucking scared of him?
That was the Pride.
The second one.
The first one, I think.
Anyways.
I don't know which one.
Yeah, I mean, even at his best, I would still pick Fedor because he had an insane chin and good scrambling ability. At his best. But this is not Fedor at his best.
Correct.
No, like, we saw what Magmi Trion did to Fedor.
Yeah.
And Ryan Bader is stronger. No, but not stronger, but he's much, much faster.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm afraid for him. Like, I feel for the guy.
A lot like Lil Nog 2. After about 5 minutes. After the first round.
Yeah,
I think Fedor will make Ryan work for the first 3 to 4 minutes before Ryan starts taking over, and then we see Ryan just take him down and beat him up.
I don't even think it's going to be close. Like, I give it at most 3 rounds. At most, like, somewhere in the third round.
He's just not the same.
Yeah, he's faded. Like I do think that there's a point like we should start considering these guys like as having retired, like they retired versions of themselves, right? And when they come back, because most of them come back, they should be regarded differently. Yes.
Yeah,
And they think that, yeah, like Fedor retired. Like this person right now is a different version. He's an older guy and he's trying things and trying to reinvent himself to an extent. Yeah, like it's like, did you ever read like? Did you watch the movie Logan with Wolverine?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, but he doesn't heal.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we can move on from this to discuss the next fight. Alexander Volkanovski versus Chad Mendes. This is a passing of the torch fight. It's very important to note that Volkanovski is one of the underrated new breed of featherweight prospects. Like most of the talk centered around Zabit. But Alexander Volkanovski is a freaking monster. He is my favorite of the new guys coming up. I love watching him. He just dominated Darren Elkins. He dominated Jeremy Kennedy, and like he had those awesome fights with Shane Young, Mizuto Rota. He's 18-1. He's not a spring chicken. But he's only 6 years into his career. He's 30 years old, but he's 6 years into his career. He's not the type of fighter that relies necessarily on his speed. So more so than his tenacity, his volume, his toughness, and his incredible, unreal ground and pound, his relentless pace. He's just a little ball of fury, and I absolutely love watching him. I like him more than Zabit. I like him more than Yair Rodriguez. I like him more than a lot of these other guys, and he is someone who his striking style is very not meat and potatoes, but it's like I remember when he was fighting Mizuto Hirota, I was talking about how he has like a modified version almost of like the peekaboo guard, and he'll cover up, he'll take these punches on his arms and whatever, he'll shift, he'll do a lot of movement over his hip, from his hips over his legs, and he'll use it to come back, firing hooks from both sides. He shifts very well, and he'll transfer that into takedown attempts as well, which throws opponent off because they're covering up. He's shooting under. They're dropping. They drop down to defend. He's coming back up with these punches, and he is really, really good in these face shifting moments, while also being able to handle himself on the feet and on the ground exclusively. So Volkanovski is one of those fighters who kind of follows the Khabib Nurmagomedov style of ground and pound as well. He constantly is laying this barrage of ground and pound on you. You are never safe. Oh, you're going to try and reestablish a full guard? I'm going to punch you 4 times while you do it. Oh, I'm passing to your half guard to side control. Oh, you're going to try and defend it? Okay, I'm just going to use the punch. Oh, you're going to try and get up? I'm going to punch you in the face. And then when you're defending the face punches, I'm going to shoot back and bring you back down. He is an incredible phase shifter. He is incredible at finding space to land strikes and do damage. And he is just my absolute favorite ball of firecracker and fury. And I love him. And I think he's going to do big, big things in this division. And I think specifically versus Chad Mendes, someone who relies on his athleticism, his speed, his explosiveness to land single shots.
Can I say something?
No. Yes.
Well, you can keep gushing about Volkanovski, but first, how can you like him more like his stand-up more than Jair Rodriguez? You're crazy.
I said I like him more than Yair Rodriguez.
Well, okay. That is wrong.
I like him more than Yair Rodriguez.
But you're wrong. Okay, that. Second, like, the ground and pound, like, is it really Khabib's like? Because Khabib is like, I hold you, I secure position, and then I punch you a bunch of times.
Well, Volkanovski does secure position, but he does, like when Khabib's opponents are getting up, he's punching them. He's not trying to secure position. He's reacting. Let me rephrase that. They both react in the same way in that they both like they will either punch or work for a position depending on your reaction. If you're trying to stand up, they're going to punch you in the face. And as soon as you start protecting the punches, they're going to shoot for you again or work to bring you back to the ground and a secure position. And then they'll phase shift back and forth depending on what your reaction is. If you just stand there eating punches in the face, they're going to happily keep punching you in the face. They'll let you get up and then they'll work to get you back down.
So he has good management tactics.
Absolutely. Volkanovski,
I haven't noticed.
Volkanovski is the better ground fighter in the division than anyone else.
Ooh, better than Zabit?
Yeah, different. But I think he's a far more dangerous ground and pounder than Zabit. He's not nearly as good as submission grappling. But Zabit can do less damage on the ground. Is the way I would say it.
I'm about to jump into the train, like the hype train.
Go for it. I'm trying to get you on the hype train. But think about it like this also. He's uniquely suited to taking advantage of Mendes. Because Mendes, while he does like to fire off counters, Volkanovski is going to be overloading him with information. It's a question of whether Volkanovski can take Mendes' shots, because he is going to eat a shot or two at least, and how well he can grind out Mendes. Because honestly, if there's one thing we just haven't seen happen to Mendes, it's him fighting a grinder, right? Like, I can't think of a single grinder he fought that successfully was able to grind him. And that was, the last one was Nick Lentz, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Well, Frankie Edgar technically, but Edgar knocked him out.
Yeah, with his iron hands, like hands of stone.
Yeah, those hands of stone. Fucking, he really lives up to his namesake of what's his namesake of? Who said no mas? Who said no mas?
Shit, Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran.
Like, he could punch a horse out, right?
I'm sorry, I just fixated the fact that he lives to his nickname of ... fuck.
Yes, exactly. But that's my point. Like, his last grinder knocked him out in the first round, and then he had 3 years off essentially, and then he fought Miles Jury. So whatever.
Poor Miles.
Right. And then before that, it was Lamas, who he knocked out in the first round, and Nick Lentz, who went to decision with him while he flew, to be fair.
Yeah.
Before that, he actually fought two grinders in Clay Guida and Darren Elkins. But again,
no, it's not the same.
It's not. Like, Volkanovski's better than all of them by a long shot.
I mean,
is uniquely suited, I think, to overloading Mendes after round one. I don't see how Mendes will be able to stop the relentlessness of Volkanovski unless he can just put him down.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a game of, because Chad Mendes is like, when he wants to fight long stretches, like in the Aldo fight, he was very managed. Like, he was thinking a lot of doing things that wouldn't like overexert him, right?
I mean, the best.
And against Volkanovski, like a guy that is kinda as athletic as he is, but that has a much higher output, that's going to be difficult, especially if he can take the same shot that he used to take.
Oh yeah, and Volkanovski has fought as high as middleweight, I think, or something like that. So
as hard as what? High as what?
Middleweight. Like, he fought at middleweight, I think.
Why?
Because he's crazy. Yeah, he definitely fought at welterweight. And then he just kept dropping down after a little while. But supposedly he fought at middleweight. Give me a second. I'm going to see.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's a crazy fucker. He fought at... he wrestled... Oh my God. He used to weigh 214 pounds for rugby and Greco-Roman wrestling.
That's insane.
He switched to combat sports, where he fought in the middleweight division as he weighed 210.
That's fucked up. Yeah. No, like, he's going to paste him. He's going to paste Chad.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of him for him now.
Yeah, so, like, the way
What a way, like, you made me root for Chad.
Why?
I don't know, like when people are facing these like massive threats to their well-being, I just logically like lean their way. Chad is like tiny, man. Even for featherweight, he's not that large.
Jacked. Like
I know he's jacked, but
they're
he's
the
tiny.
same height.
What the fuck?
They're both 5'6", dude.
How the fuck did he make middleweight? What was he eating? Who was he eating? How many people? I want to know that.
Dude, this is like Volkanovski lands an average of 6 significant strikes per minute. And his fucking accuracy is 63%.
That's fucked up.
While absorbing 2.5 strikes a minute. Like
he's not gonna look good.
To have that output while absorbing that few shots is impressive.
To be that massive too.
He's not. That's the thing. He's really not that big. Like, go look at him versus his other opponents. He's not that big.
Maybe he's just super dense.
Maybe.
Big bones.
Big. Yeah, he's got a 72-inch reach while being 5'6". That's long. That's a 6-foot reach. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to. I think the biggest thing is to note is that what we've seen with Volkanovski, sorry, not Volkanovski, Mendes, is that he's at his best when he has time to think, right? Like when he's not being forced to react at a high level, at a higher pace, and then we see him do his best because he could set up his shots much better. Aldo in the rematch, Conor, Edgar were able to kind of like not give him time, and we saw him struggle. And I think that's what it's going to come down to, whether Mendes can face Volkanovski with the first hard shot he lands, really. But other than that, I think Volkanovski is just going to overload him and announce his entry to the top 5 of the division.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. And with that, we're going to move on. I think that it's something to the quick hits, yeah. We're going to talk about our quick hits. I'll let you start since you want to talk about Megan.
Megan is going to fight Kat Zingano.
Yep.
And I fear for her. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that it may be... she can win, right? But when she fought Holly, she showed that A, she's very strong. B, she's still very, very, very new on the ground. And Zingano is a much better ground fighter than Holly Holm. She's also a late starter in the fighting career. So, and Zingano, she has good cardio, man. And she is going to be fighting her at 145. She's not going to be cutting a lot of weight for this fight. And Megan will. So, as a quick hit, the most I can say is that I can see her winning early. Like, if she puts together a couple of good combinations, she hits hard, is huge. But on the other hand, like, Zingano has been there a bunch of times. She's weathered, if you will. But she has also weathered a bunch of storms. And I think she submits her in round 1 or 2. What do you think? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know because Kat's really not that good of a wrestler.
No, but you don't need to be that good a wrestler to take down Megan Anderson, unfortunately.
True, but Kat also fights with the fight IQ of, well, no fight IQ, actually.
Oh, that's harsh.
I'm not being a dick. I'm being...
No, I mean, she tends to be impulsive in fights.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have not been impressed with her in years. Like, the last impressive performance from her, personally, for me, was Tate.
Yeah, and Amanda Nunes. That was good.
Well, yeah, but I think Tate was after that.
Yeah.
But she also just relies on her toughness a lot. Oh, wait, no, you're right. Nunes was after Tate, so yeah, Nunes. But that was also 4 years ago, and she's fought 4 times since then, losing 3 of them.
Huh.
So
that's a fair argument. Like, I'm thinking, so maybe Megan can win.
Megan can win. It just depends on how Kat fights. Like, if Kat is smart, she'll take it to the ground, and if she's not smart, she'll try and stand and bang. So, but she's also the type of person who charged at Ronda Rousey and got submitted in 14 seconds. So I don't know.
I just want I like Kat Zingano, but I kind of want Megan to win because she has a YouTube channel with Laura Sanko and they're amusing and she's nice.
I do. So listen, I like Kat. I mean, I have nothing against her.
I think she's really cute,
really sweet. I support her a lot. I know she's after I think it was her ex-husband committed suicide. I know she's been through a lot, and I really, with the injuries, I just have a lot of respect for her as a person, and I do want her to succeed. But I think as a fighter, she was always a little overrated, and it's just hard, She's right now, I don't know if she's single, but she was raising her son by herself, at least, after Mauricio Zingano passed away. I don't know. I don't know who to pick. I think Megan is raw, but she's also relatively disciplined, at least on the feet, or at least more so than Kat.
And massive.
Yeah. And
she actually put home in trouble. Like the very first exchange that they have, she immediately got her attention. Like, holy shit, I have to wrestle.
I don't remember the fight.
Yeah, I do. Like it was one exchange. So
still better than
based on that.
Yeah.
And assuming that she can, at the very least, be allowed to work at distance, she can win. You're giving me hope.
Okay.
To an extent.
I mean, I think Megan. I might pick Megan. So yeah, let's move on to the next quick hit. We're gonna pick Aaron Pico. He is fighting for the 5th time in his career now. He's fighting Henry Corrales, who's 6-3, 4-fight win streak. Pico is the best prospect since John Jones, and I think he's better than John Jones at this point in his career. He's fighting better competition. He's in a deeper weight class.
He may be a better athlete too.
Yeah. Man, there's so many good things to say about Aaron Pico. He's 22. He's a monster, and this dude is going to be a potential GOAT. And I feel comfortable saying that. This dude is a freak.
He seems to have his head screwed on tight, together. He's well put together. He doesn't seem like
he
likes doing many crazy.
Yeah, like think about it. This dude lost, with all the hype behind him, lost his debut, got rocked and submitted in the first round, and came back to knock out 4 straight opponents. 2 of them, I think one of them by body shots, and I think another one he knocked down with body shots and finished on the headshots or whatever it was. But
yeah, his stand-up is very short. He's very short.
Powerful. He's so powerful. I don't know where he trains. I should have looked that up.
He trains with there's another Bellator fighter there. He's the son of his trainer. He's with Antonio Macchi. I think he trained with Antonio Macchi. Macchi?
Trainer it says Valentin Kalika. Strength and conditioning coach is Sam Calavelt. Wrestling, I don't know what team that is. Doesn't say the team.
I know, but I think he's trained by.
He's in Cali. He's in Cali, so I don't know where he trains.
But I think he's trained by Antonio Macchi.
Might be.
He trained with his son, because I remember him distinctly saying that he wasn't going to fight because they fight in the same division, and he wasn't going to find the son of his trainer.
Right. McKee said he would rather. He would rather retire than fight him.
Yeah, so yeah, but it's they're doing a good job with him. I'm excited.
Yeah, I would also point out that supposedly, this is a story that was heard, Josh Thompson had to pull from his fight against Michael Chandler because he was dropped in training by Aaron Pico, and Aaron was 19 at the time.
Holy shit.
So he knocked him out, during a sparring session.
What?
That's
bad.
Yeah, Pico's legit, and Henry Corrales is a good fighter, but man, this ain't it, bro. This ain't it. This is not gonna be. I think Pico will beat Henry Corrales, and very possibly by knockout, but if he can't knock him out, I think he's going to just dominate.
No, he's going to knock him out.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about
BJ Penn.
BJ. Okay. Please retire. I know you signed a 4-5 contract. Listen,
Why?
Listen. People are like, oh, but like Ryan Hall is not really good in the feet, and he's a slow-paced fighter. Okay. Ryan Hall is an actual current fighter, despite the fact that he hasn't fought in a few years, and he's better than BJ at jiu-jitsu probably at this point, and has a gas tank, and isn't ancient and worn. And BJ Penn is not BJ Penn. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop.
BJ Penn retired.
He's not good anymore. Okay. Yes, he knocked down Dennis Seaver, but while getting destroyed by Dennis Seaver for the entire fight. So he lost.
No, yeah, he's the most likely scenario here is that he doesn't do well. What I think is that people want to see him beat him up with his boxing, basically. I think that's what they want. That they are still holding on to this idea that it might happen, right? We don't know. It might happen, and BJ will somehow pull a rabbit out of his hat and beat him up standing up. He will somehow avoid the jiu-jitsu game and just box him up. And that will be the end of it. But does he have a cardio to finish him, though?
No.
Ah, damn. Nah, he's toast.
But does he even have the boxing anymore?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just sad about this, and I don't want to see it. But yeah. God, it really bothers me, to be honest. I don't want to see it.
Neither do I. Also, Arlovsky has another fight. How about that? He also should retire.
He should. He should retire, but he's also doing well-ish. I mean, he's on a 2-fight losing streak, but he's also like not getting blown out of the water. They're both by decision. One of them was to Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah.
And he's facing Walt Harris, a big power puncher who's fast, who's athletic, but also not very good. But he's also the exact type of fighter that Arlovsky would get knocked out by.
Well, he's not even Bobchanchen. No, I'm sorry, no. What was the name of the guy that nearly killed him in Strikeforce?
Oh, Brett Rogers?
No, the other guy, like the Russian guy.
Fedor?
No, the other guy. No, that was an Affliction.
Oh, right. Sergei Kharitonov.
Yeah, jeez, I was thinking Igor. No, yeah, Sergei Kharitonov. Yeah.
No, he never fought Igor. I think Igor was...
No, Igor retired by then.
No, he wasn't retired. It's just that he was in Pride. Igor was in Pride.
No, but I think Pride had died by then. Anyways.
1999?
Didn't it?
Dude, Andre
no,
was in 1999.
Oh, no, wait. What's the name of the Russian guy again?
No. I see what the misunderstanding is. You're saying Igor was retired by 2011 when he fought Sergey. Yeah. I'm talking about I wanted to see if they fought at all.
No. Because Kharitonov just, like, holy shit, I'm watching a picture. I know it has nothing to do with this, but I'm just watching a picture of Sergei Kharitonov, and his wrist is so fucking thick.
Just send it in the chat. Anyway, yeah, so Walt Harris is exactly the type of guy that could trouble Arlovsky and hurt him, but, man, he's also exactly the type of guy who Andre could pull a rabbit out of his ass and look great. So, I mean, I have no idea who to pick here, but I think that Arlovsky's veteran savvy might be enough here to survive, and, you know, his I think one thing we really have seen from Arlovsky a lot is, like, he's far more calm taking shots. He's not panicking. He's not getting floored and blasted and hurt nearly as much now, and that's very important. It's very interesting to see that he's developed that kind of, like, that level of calm and poise in the pocket now. He's using his left hand more, finally. He's still very much a right-handed heavy dominant fighter, right-handed dominant fighter.
As most heavyweights are.
Correct. But he's willing to use his left hand. He's jabbing more. He's throwing left hooks. He's displaying defense in the pocket, which is interesting. And Walt Harris is not that deep of a technical fighter. He's very fast and athletic. He might land on Arlovsky and just put him to sleep, but he's not Francis Ngannou. But
you don't need to be Francis Ngannou, though.
But the thing is, his best win is what? I mean, like, his last win is Daniel Spitz, and his best win might be Chase Sherman. So,
fair point.
I mean, I don't know what to think. Like, the dude lost. Well, okay, so his last fight, his last loss was to Mark Godbeer because of an illegal head kick.
So what we're saying is, Arlovsky wins a hard-fought battle, or he gets knocked out.
Yeah. Although it should be mentioned that, you know, it's not like he's unknockoutable. He's been knocked out once. Granted, it was he's been knocked out twice. So, you know, he can be knocked out. And Arlovsky still hits fucking hard.
Yeah. Power is the last thing to go. So he has that going for him.
True. And I think we need to talk about one more thing. Ilir Latifi.
The god.
The god slain by Bader.
Yeah, to be fair, he did that to Aton for hours since. He allowed that to happen. He allowed for that to happen. That was part of the plan, if you weren't aware of it.
He's fighting Corey Anderson, who just beat the slowest version of Glover Teixeira. Honestly, I see Latifi winning this one. He's faster, more athletic, and explosive than Anderson, and Anderson is not exactly that good defensively. Well,
he also rides horses.
Yeah, he also Anderson relies heavily on his pace and output, overwhelming his opponents, which I could see working since Latifi is not very high output. But
yeah,
I gotta go with Latifi.
Latifi. I believe in the gospel. I have faith.
I just don't think Anderson will be able to get anything done with his wrestling, and I think if Latifi will eventually land the bomb. And Anderson has been knocked out 1, 2, 3 times out of his 4 losses. By OSP, Genoa, and by Volante.
Yes, Latifi has enough wrestling capacity to stifle him for long enough to crack him with something. He doesn't even have to finish him, just like it's a minor thing. But all he has to do really is just concuss him hard enough for him to shirk back and let Latifi dictate the rest of the fight, even if it's not a finish.
Yeah, I mean, Latifi's defensive wrestling statistic is 100%. He's never been taken down in the UFC.
Well, because he doesn't, that's not his will.
Right. Yeah. Also, he's about the size of a large box. So, he's the size and shape of a large box, a very heavy large box. So, but he's very, very inactive on the feet.
He's also kind of inaccurate.
He's also kind of inaccurate, but he's very inactive. So, like, I could see Corey just kind of like outpacing him, but at the same time, I cannot see Corey avoiding the big shot.
Yeah.
So,
Latifi wins.
Latifi by KO?
TKO. I don't think he flattens him or anything. I think he either wins by TKO somewhere in the second round, or it's a sort of comfortable win for him.
True. I will say that all of Latifi's knockouts have kind of come against low-level guys like Sean O'Connell, Hans Stringer, Chris Dempsey. But I could see a TKO or hurting him enough in these rounds to.
Especially because he has been hurt before. That's kind of the problem. He doesn't have.
Fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been knocked out himself a few times. He was knocked out by Bader, of course. I mean, I wanted to mention that. He's been knocked out 3 times already in his career. But Corey's very, very pillow-fisted.
Can you imagine if he comes and he just slays Latifi? He just blasters him? I'm going to feel very silly if he does.
I don't think Corey could do it.
Well, he can. I'm sure he can. No. It's not impossible.
Yeah, it is. No, I'm
sure. That's dictated a natural impossibility. It just won't happen.
Yeah, no, it won't ever happen. Anyway, I think that
you know that there's shit in nature that just cannot happen.
No.
Quite literally, one would expect, well, everything has to happen at some point. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know certain things can never happen. Stefan Struve will never develop good defense for. That's
what I mean. No, I I meant like in terms of like there's these particles. There's these particles called fermions that they cannot occupy the same quantum state. Like it just won't happen. You will never see a fermion occupy the same quantum state of another fermion. But it's more. It makes more sense what you're saying. Poor stuff is true.
Sorry, like yeah, I'm not nothing. Sorry, I like Struve. You're awesome, but
we love you, buddy. We're not mocking you.
You fucked up your career, bro. Like all you needed was you just needed a jab and a front kick, and that's like 90% of heavyweights you're beating.
No, don't say that. Poor Stefan.
Like I played the UFC game, and I put myself on. Like I redid Stefan Struve's career. And granted, like I played on the legendary career, so you don't. Okay, so you can't restart when you lose, and you have like limited durability, so eventually you just like have to retire due to lack of durability. And like he is really tall, so he's 7 foot in the game with an 84-inch reach, but they make him so gangly that like when he unfolds his arms to jab, you could just get fucking countered with the overhand right, like in real life. And even though I tried to develop like speed and power and a great chin, it didn't matter because I just kept fucking like even with like a really high strike speed, it still took so fucking long to land the strike.
That's so nasty. Even if in the game they made him like vulnerable.
Yeah, even when you like change his stats, like it doesn't matter. It's very hard to win with Stefan Struve. It's like
well, he will always be the guy that KO'd Stipe Miocic before Daniel Cormier KO'd Stipe Miocic.
Yes.
He will always have that. I knocked out that guy that went and won.
To be fair, he did it off of a slip on blood and an eye poke.
You're asking for too much.
Okay, so with that, I think that's the end of episode 8 of this podcast. And yeah, I think this was fun. Bilal kind of had to cut out because there were demons, so we apologize.
Yes.
For the demons.
We were sorry about that, but
it's okay.
The demons
we performed a quick exorcism, and it was work.
Yes, the demons of South Africa are gone. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, so is Bilal, because he was the demons.
He was the demon. The demon of South
Africa.
No,
the demons. No, it's a reference to a shitty song from the internet a long time ago. Have you heard that? You probably haven't heard it.
Maybe.
It's a song based on really. Let's end on a funny note. It's a song that some guy wrote, like based on a bad fan fiction some guy wrote a long time ago in some forgotten forum on the internet. A guy wrote a fan fiction of Doom, and it even had like a cliffhanger and shit. And this guy recorded himself singing the fan fiction.
Wow!
Oh, it's amazing. Like I'm going to send you a link after we're done. It's great.
Please do. That's amazing. Oh my god. And with that, it's been fun. I've been your host, Ben, joined by Alejandro and briefly by Bilal. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful week, and yeah, enjoy the fights.
Yeah.